everybody. It's a great honor for me to open this conference. Welcome not only people here, but there are also many people online. I thought about 200 or so, or don't know, but that's the type of numbers. It's of course great that so many people are interested in this initiative. I'm Mark Salmon. I'm the dean of this business school, and I'm also I have a quantitative background, so it's very, very nice that we have this initiative here at the business school currently. I want to thank also our partners, Ortec, Michael, who will certainly come later, Frans, and other people from Ortec present here. Ortec is a great sponsor and also brings in a lot of knowledge and software. So it's great that we could have this cooperation between science, Ortec, and of course all the other partners and NGOs that are present. Now we want to do analytics, of course, to do something with it, and that is what we want to do with it is contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals, and that's also more and more important now. Not only, of course, because of these objectives, but also because many people that work here want that. Many researchers want to contribute to SDGs, and it's very important that we have this kind of initiatives to offer the possibility to do that. And then who is doing all of this? Of course, this is a slide with more or less the founders on it. The big founder is, of course, Dick, who came with the idea, and later on Dimitri joined, and Dimitri is from MIT, where Dick has also kind of visiting position. So from time to time, Dick is going there, and they're discussing all kinds of things around analytics for a better world to make it better, more innovative. There is, of course, Robert, who is the managing director of Analytics for a Better World. And there is Parvati, doing all kinds of things, everything that other people are not doing and a lot more. So you're really very important also for this initiative. Then there is the advisory board where Michael from Ortec is in, and Frans, and myself, and it used to be also Willemijn, and there is a vacancy now. So we'll look around to further to make it a bit larger. Of course, there are also many other people that are very important for this initiative. Joachim, I don't know whether he's here upstairs. Piet, Claudia, and Marta, all very important also to keep this running. Now we have a lot of, not only people that work here are very enthusiastic about this initiative, we're also doing it for our students. We more or less remodeled our course on operations research. People still learn the techniques of operations research, but they apply them on this kind of things that we are discussing today with big success. Last week, I met a student, experienced student. He is head of a department at the AFM. And he said, yeah, there is one course that is really the best course that I ever had in my life. And that was a course taught by Dick and Joachim about these kind of applications. So it's really appreciated. And there are many students that want to write their thesis project about this. Now, then we also get, like external recognition. And one very nice thing was that we were finalists in the Huybrechtse Prize. That is a prize for the best scientific applications in the Netherlands. We were finalists in the top 6. It was a very nice event with the Dutch minister also present. All kinds of movies were shown, also about analytics for a better world. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but it was very nice to be there, selected as one of the 6 best applied research projects in the Netherlands. Now then, I've come already to the end, almost to the end of my presentation. This is what the program will be today. After myself, Robert will take over and give a presentation about where we exactly stand now. There are 2 keynote presentations, and then there are breakout sessions, also smaller sessions from 3 o'clock on, and it will end with drinks downstairs and time to further network. Now then, some small announcements. We will make some videos and pictures. If you don't like it, please tell her. She has already made some pictures. Maybe this should have been the first slide. Bathrooms and emergency exits. Bathrooms are outside here. The breakout room is 1 floor up, or 2 floors up from here. No, 1 floor up. There will be coffee served, and as I said, there will be network drinks. Now we'll give the floor to Robert to give a presentation about the state of what it is now. Thanks. Yeah.
Right, so this will be a presentation with the 3 of us. So after me, Parvati will take the floor, and then Dick will share his story. Well, I maybe want to start first with sharing how proud and excited I am to be here, because we started off with. Let's have my clicker here. So we started a year ago almost with this mission, applying analytics to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. For me personally, it has been a really big dream to be leading this institute. So I started way back by applying information integration around river floods in Bangladesh. With my master thesis, I stepped into the private sector to apply analytics, saw the really big value that it has, and I'm now very, very excited and proud to be leading this institute and working together with all of you and with so many very nice people to fulfill this mission together. And I remember standing here a year back with all the plans that we had, and now we can already actually say that we have made a lot of impact, and Dick and Parvati and myself will start sharing that, but also from our network. So Arjen from the Ocean Cleanup and Wessel from 510 will be sharing the impact that we're making, as well as in the panels afterwards. So this is all going to be a really fun ride, at least for me, and I hope for you as well. All this is not possible without collaboration, is what we believe. So we bring together with this institute 3 different parties, and each bring, I think, a unique and very important piece of the puzzle to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals together. So on the one, I will start with research. So research will bring us the capabilities to figure out solutions to new problems that cannot be solved yet with company support, for example. Next to that, researchers can teach analytics skills to people from nonprofits. Secondly, we have businesses. So applying analytics in practice is really different from researching analytics. So bringing those 2 together really helps nonprofits to get value from analytics in their programs, in their towards their beneficiaries, and increase their effectivity and impact, so to say. Yeah, and then obviously the most important one is nonprofits who have the problems worth solving, who are the people that we would like to support with these analytic skills and jointly contribute to these Sustainable Development Goals. So we work with these 3 parties. What is the things that we do? We do basically 3 things. So one is knowledge sharing. We help people from nonprofits gain the knowledge and apply analytics themselves. This is really needed because there is a big knowledge gap within NGOs. Well, not only NGOs, I think also in the business world, but I think even bigger in the nonprofit world. We do this also by having an open source repository where we share everything that we built for one NGO also with other nonprofits, and we do seminars and events like this to disseminate knowledge and to share and learn from each other. Secondly, we don't only want to talk about analytics or talk about AI, which is, I think, also done a lot in the world. We also really want to implement it. So that's why we're collaborating with companies. So we are having companies that help NGOs get value from their data and by applying analytics. And this ranges from ideation sessions to strategic roadmaps to help the organization grow in maturity until implementing dashboards, models, and you name it. Then at last, when we run into issues that we cannot tackle by the knowledge that is already there, we fly in the researchers, which help us extend the boundaries of the knowledge that we have and push the applications to the next level. And ideally, which I think can also be seen in much of the stories that we will be sharing here today, is that we combine these three activities for one partner. So, for example, with the ocean cleanup, we have people in the academy, where Pravati will be sharing about. We're doing a research project, and we're doing a software implementation project. Not sure where. Oh, there's who's led by Marijke. So that's what we do. Then I have a highlights slide. It is too much to sum up. You will receive this infographic later on. I have summarized it for you in just three key points. So last year we were very, very happy with our launch and our growth in the last year. So we received a lot more subscribers to this conference than last year. I see that there are a lot of people in the sidelines. There are also, in fact, people on site upstairs, which we will be switching around after this. But it's just really, really good to see that we have so much enthusiasm and so much people that want to contribute. We see that also on LinkedIn. So just today we passed the 2.1 thousand followers on LinkedIn. Now, this is not important by itself, but I think it really shows that we are spreading a really cool and good inspiring message. And a lot of people want to contribute. And we see this also in nonprofits. So we have close collaborations now with 5 nonprofits, with 5 companies, and with 4 research institutes. And I will let you know more about those later on. Well, then impact. It's all about impact for us. So we are very happy to share that we trained 69 nonprofit employees last year on applying analytics in their own work. So that is really nice, and I think that's also helping really to scale our efforts. So alone we can only do so much, right? If we help people also apply these kind of techniques, it really makes a lot larger impact. We did 12 implementation projects, so more software development projects. We have 15 ongoing research projects that are running, and which is also really nice to mention is the repository. So we have 8 projects that run on the same code base. So really, the scalability of the things that we do is increasing, and I think that is really Parvati's contribution that is going really well. Let's see, where am I? At last, we are very, very excited by all the enthusiasm and contributions from, well, a lot of people here in the room, but also people online. So we have, for example, over 1,000 committed days of support that we get from our sponsor network for the coming period. We have 85 people that contributed to our repository, so to the code that we also reuse for other people, and we have 4.5 externally funded PhDs working on the projects that we do. So it's not only the things that we are doing, but the network is expanding, and there's really a lot happening, and I think that makes us very, very happy and very proud. Okay, so these are a few of the nonprofit projects and collaborations that we are working. So we have with the ocean cleanup, we'll tell a keynote after this. Then we have 510, which will also share a keynote. We have multiple people from AMREF in the panels today, so they will also share their insights and the added value of what we are doing. And we are collaborating with the World Bank on which will also be shared by both Dick and Parvati on that open source toolkit, which is also one of the panels. This is the panel that's going to be here right after the keynotes. And next to that, we have growing and exploring. So I wouldn't name these full partners, to be honest, but there are already, for example, from Oxfam, we are starting to explore and collaborate, which is really nice. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So the other end of the triangle, companies and university sponsors. So I'm really happy with the support from Ortec and the support from the University of Amsterdam, being also in the supervisory board. Is that they have really put their foot down and helped us with a very large startup budget to get things off the ground, not only financial but also in kind, and also with organizational stuff like legal support, administrative support, and you name it. So yeah, this really helped us get all of this together. But it's not only Ortec and University of Amsterdam. Next to that, we have also a lot of in-kind contributors, of which already I see also quite a few in the room here. So, for example, C-Motions, Day per Day, Lutz, Building Blocks, Gurobi, Pipple, here with Jeroen. And from MIT, who are contributing in the panel, Dimitris, London Business School, who is working on the ocean cleanup project, and Tilburg University, where we also have really close ties with. So this is just a big thank you to all for contributing and supporting us. Then our outlook. So what are we going to focus on? Well, first off, we are in need of long-term funding. So this is one of my key challenges of this year is to secure long-term funding for this institute, to help it grow and to help it scale. So if there are other parties that would like to join the ranks of both UvA and Ortec, please come to me. Secondly, we're growing the team. So we have, in fact, somebody who's joining here with us today. Very happy to have you on board. And we will engage a lot more with our contributors. So that is being all the sponsors and research collaborators that we have. And we want to increase our impact, which means doubling the size of the academy that we have, where Parvati will share a lot more about. So this is not only extending the amount of participants, but this also means adding another course that will also be freely available for non-profit employees. And next to that, well, we obviously will increase the projects and the research that we are doing. Second section of my talk is about, well, why should you work with us, and how can you work with us? So why do nonprofits join our mission? Well, they mainly come to us because they want to get value from their data. They want to apply analytics. And what we see is that we help them grow in their maturity. So it's not only hopping from one project to another, but we are really in it for the long run and really into a partnership kind of collaboration. Secondly, we give access to a lot of analytics expertise. I see a lot of analytics expertise in the room, but also online. So I think we can really help in bridging the gap from research and from small prototypes to actual implementation by combining the efforts of both business and research. And at last, well, we can offer lower costs because we can jointly write for grants. We can work for non-profit rates, and we also have this open source approach, which also helps us in repeating stuff that is already been done and can speed up these projects. So how can you collaborate with us? This slide you have already seen, so we'll go quickly through it. Basically, there are three options. You can join our free courses and our seminars. You can invite us for an exploration session for the implementation projects. And you can collaborate with us on analytics research related to the sustainable development goals. So for the first two, you can come to Parvati or to me. And for the third one, please approach Dick. Then for companies and for researchers, so why should you contribute? First off, I think it is really inspiring for organizations to use their skills and their resources to contribute to a better world. Secondly, we see that it really builds employee satisfaction and happiness to be working on these kind of projects and in these kind of activities. And at last, and I think this should not be the sole reason, but it is obviously also very good PR, and for CSR efforts, it's also a good thing. But please know, this should not be the sole reason. I think the first two should be a bit more important. At last, how to contribute. We are more or less happy with everything that you can bring. So if you can bring skills, we are very happy with that. Data that can be used in our projects, technology, so licenses, open source tools, you name it, that can be used in our projects is very helpful. And obviously also funding. So if we want to keep this movement alive and growing, also funding is important to us. We use all this. We make a big mix of it and a collaboration, a joint effort, and jointly we work on our mission. That's my part, and now I'm giving the floor to Parvati, who's going to share about impact projects and about the academy that we have.
First of all, it's really great to see a lot of you who I have seen online, but this is the first time I think we are meeting live. So thank you all so much for joining today. And I resonate exactly with what Robert mentioned. It has been a pleasure past year working with a lot of you very closely in upskilling nonprofits and developing projects. And also, I feel that we are succeeding in creating like a community of practitioners, experts, and nonprofit professionals who are actually working on the ground. And we are creating that learning community together. And that, I think, is my major takeaway from last year. That and if you ask me what I'm most happy about ABW, it is that feeling of community and this like excessive amount of collaboration that have been happening. So thank you all so much for that. It's not possible with without each and every one of you. Now, Robert shared that we do activities across these three. So we do knowledge sharing. We do a lot of training programs. We do not just in-house training programs, but also we have a cohort-based approach because we believe that one nonprofit can always learn from others, be they are all from the same sector or others. So there is a lot of peer-to-peer learning opportunities in the nonprofit sector. So that's why we do a lot of knowledge sharing activities, but it's not just about the academy, but today I'll focus a bit more on the academy part because we don't have that much time. And then we have analytics implementation. So I really love what Professor Dick always says, that we should become obsolete at some point, that nonprofits are really upskilled and they are able to do projects on their own, that we are not becoming consultants. So that is actually one of the core things that we keep in mind when we develop solutions for them. And when we do projects, we don't try to always do it for them. We try to do it with them. And we always try to do with every project, training is usually a very integral component. So that's what we do under analytics implementation. So we do projects ranging from dashboarding all the way to optimization, which we also get a lot of support from our research team together with all the industry partners. And of course, we have the research part, which Professor Dick will be covering. So let's see what we are doing in the academy. Why do we actually need an academy for the nonprofit? So we have this report from data.org. They have done a very extensive horizon scanning, and they have come up with this number that there is an opportunity to shape and develop 3.5 million data professionals who are going to be more focused on social impact in developing countries alone. And I would say this is an opportunity, but also a challenge, because how do we actually make sure that this much talent can be leveraged in the social sector when even big companies struggle to retain talent in the long term? So the report also says that to do this, you need 4 things. So we need first new talent. So people who are not maybe students who are new to this field have to be upskilled to learn what challenges exist in the public sector, because they are not always the same as what we learn in school or college, because sometimes the context is not there. Maybe you are really good at machine learning and artificial intelligence, but you don't really understand the context, then it is really difficult to make an impact in public sector. Then we also need to upskill the existing public sector talent because they hold a lot of domain expertise. How do you upskill them? By training them more in data science. Then you also need transitional talent. So let's say there are students who are coming out from organizations even consultants from our partners like C-Motions, DHL, they are really good in data science, but how do you give them opportunities? At the same time, context of public sector to actually spend some part of their time in generating some impact on the ground. So these are the 3 things that you need to reach this 3.5 million number. Plus, you need to have leaders at nonprofit who can actually understand why digital transformation is important, because it's not always the first order of business for nonprofits to invest in data and digital, because they are more interested in, let's say, constructing hospitals or doing healthcare initiatives. Maybe their first order of their priority is not really on data and digital, but this leadership is required to actually make them understand what value data and digital can do. And this is not always straightforward, because sometimes the impact can also take time. So how do you do that? So our training programs are actually tailored to these challenges and opportunities. So we last year started with the data science practitioners course, which was completely free for nonprofit practitioners. And we trained them on data science tools, techniques, and we always focus on the open source tools. So we are not really teaching them how to use proprietary tools, because funding is always a challenge. We also, this year, is launching an analytics translator course, which is targeted at managers. Why we started with the data science practitioner course is because we had a strong network of data scientists, but we wanted to learn a bit more about what managers and leaders of nonprofits want ourselves, because we are also a new organization, right? So we took 1 year to understand. We did a lot of interviews to see what kind of analytics translator courses have to be given for nonprofits. So we are launching it this year. Actually, we will launch the call for applications today. So people will be invited to apply. Then we also next year is planning to provide a course for executives, because like I said, leadership have to be made aware of what data digital transformation can do to their organizations. And we would really like to help them do that. So we'll be launching the executive program next year. So this year we will repeat the practitioner course, and we will launch the new course on analytics translators. Now, the last year program, this is also something which gives the team a lot of pleasure. So we received more than 340 applications, and we selected 43 fellows. We did a lot of training for them for 8 weeks, but in addition, we also are doing 14 follow-up projects with them. Some of them pro bono, some of them we are jointly applying for research grants and even funding opportunities. So we have 14 follow-up projects, but this is not possible with just the small team that we have. We had 10 sponsors who really supported us with making some of their content, which sometimes they teach for at a really high cost, but for free for nonprofits. And many of them had to be tailored for nonprofits, because most of them were private sector focused, but they had to do a lot of repurposing of their existing content. We did 8 weeks of intensive hands-on program, and it was very beginner friendly. And like I said, it was completely free access. And we even provided all the course is like open for everyone. So not just our 43 fellows, but open to all. And we also created a lot of traction with the number of organizations that we supported. So many of them were new organizations that we didn't work with before. So we received interest from around the globe and across different SDGs. Now we really want to make impact on SDG, but if you look at the projects that we are doing, or even if we did a small research on how data digital funding is given to SDGs, there is a lot of focus on healthcare. From what we see, a lot of data is being collected, but it was really amazing to see from the academy that across the SDGs, there is a scope, and many organizations are working on this. So it was a good thing to see that across the SDGs, we were able to attract talent towards the fellowship program. Now, like I said before, it's not just about the fellows, but we had leveraged the capabilities of a lot of consultants to provide one-on-one mentorship with for our fellows. So they worked with them on projects, they supported them. And today, later on, there is a panel where they will also say that you will see that it's not just beneficial for fellows, but also for the mentors. It's a learning as well to support these practitioners from nonprofit. We are also providing to 3 fellows support to continue their projects. So we have the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch. It is a nonprofit which is established in 2016, and they are promoting accountability and transparency within public sector. And with Claudia, our text mining expert, she will be working on a follow-up project to help them in their digital and data transformation. We also have Protsahan India Foundation. He will be speaking in a panel later on as well. They are working on how to eradicate child abuse, and they have a lot of data being collected on the ground, which they want to anonymize and make it more actionable. We also have an open source tool called Public Infrastructure Service Access, PISA, which we have developed jointly with World Bank, and it's now being also used by 510 to optimize the location of boreholes in Sudan, and in Kenya for plastic waste collection optimization by the United Nations Environment Program. So these are the projects that we will be offering pro bono support to. In addition to all the partners that Robert mentioned before, we also received other organizations who supported us during the fellowship. So we had data.org. She's also speaking at a panel later on. We have Digital Impact Alliance, which is a UN Foundation organization. We have Quen Labs from US. We have Amsterdam Data Collective. So all these, and Nippur, we have all these amazing organizations offering courses and mentorship. Like I said, we created a community around the use of data. We didn't just do data science courses. We had some peer-to-peer learning activities. I met some of the fellows in Kenya. We had a really nice Christmas lunch. It was really that feeling of community and the spirit that we are all working towards the same goal that kept it very interesting. Now, this is just to summarize, like we are targeting not just data science practitioners, but also managers and leaders. And the next year, we are going to scale up. So last year, we selected 43 participants. This year, we are aiming at 100. So we are going to double the number of fellows. And for the analytics translator, we are also aiming at onboarding around 50 managers for the fellowship, which will also be free and open source. In addition, we also want to make sure students are attracted to work in public sector use cases and that they are made aware. So when I was doing my bachelor's, for example, I did it in electrical and electronics engineering. I never knew that there are SDGs that I can contribute with my technical expertise. So the knowledge itself, I think, can spur a lot of action from young people who are always looking for impact. So I think these amazing courses that Professor Dick and Professor Joachim are providing for a lot of students, even at MIT and UA, is actually attracting a lot of students, and they always reach out to us for master's thesis and even PhD programs, which is an amazing thing to see, that young people are getting inspired. Now, coming to analytics implementation, we offer implementation support for various levels of digital maturity. And what we see a lot happening is that there is a need for organizations to understand at different country offices or at different societies how the maturity is actually spread across. So we have worked with, for example, AMREF to do a digital maturity scan. And based on that, they are able to tailor the courses and how digital maturity have to be improved within the organization, because before you improve anything, you need to measure where you are and to understand the main challenges that different groups are facing. The same with IFRC, we contributed to the data playbook, where they have looked at all the IFRC national societies to understand how they can increase how they can accelerate their digital transformation by the use of data and digital. We also do a lot of tech stuff like software optimization, optimizing Azure, but you will hear some of it later on in the keynotes. I don't want to go into detail because once I start talking about these things, I cannot stop. Then we see that if you look at implementation, we see 4 things. So this is actually my last slide. I want to summarize with this. We see that we do projects across different maturity levels. So first is what happened. So we build a lot of dashboards, data visualization. We did trainings on Power BI. And a lot of organizations are focused there at this point, and that is exactly where you should start. But our goal is also to push them a little bit more towards predictive and optimization or prescriptive analytics. And it is a challenge, of course, but it's also a slow transition, and we totally understand that. So we need to know why things are happening, so more diagnostic abilities. And this is where we can do a lot of implementation projects. We also need to do what will happen, that is more predictive capabilities. And we see, because maybe of our expertise a lot in optimization, we are able to push people from the descriptive to the prescriptive. And I think this is what makes our journey a bit more exciting, because we are pushing organizations from just describing and understanding their data to more in optimization. And you will, we later on have a panel where we'll discuss about one of the open source tools that we have created for leveraging optimization in a lot of applications. And this is a challenge because optimization is very mathematical and people often get lost a bit if you do not have a lot of experience with it. But the best way to do it is to create a tool which makes the practitioners or the on-the-ground implementers focus more on what data do I need to collect, how do I clean the data, what kind of insights I want, and then we create an open source tool for them to easily feed this in so that the optimization results become more actionable for them and they can easily digest it with the help of tools. So we are trying to make the whole process a bit more user-friendly for them so they can focus on data collection and other things. So this is what we focus on in our analytics journey. And most of the implementation cannot happen if we don't have researchers working with us, because especially in optimization, like I said, it's very technical, and we need the researchers to work very closely with our industry partners to make it less technical and more user-friendly. And this is, with this, I'll hand over to Prof. Dick, who is our optimization and our research expert. Thank you so much, all of you.
Working. Thank you very much. So I'm really excited today. So it's only a year ago, and you know, hearing all those stories and together, I think I'm very proud that we can present it to you today. So my part is on the research part, and there, you know, I had a difficulty to choose only a few projects to tell about. So I have chosen for 5 projects. So 50 minutes. So that is 3 minutes per project. So that is nothing, but just to give you a glimpse of what we have done in research. Fortunately, also had the first project, more details maybe later by the next speaker, Arjen. But that is one of the research projects for the ocean cleanup. And it's really an exciting project together with Bai Zong and Jean-Paul Filet. To be honest, they did all the work. So in fact, there finally the goal is to remove the plastic from the oceans, and there are 5 hotspots in the world. Certainly Arjen will tell more about that. And in fact, the plastic density is not homogeneous. And then the question is how to steer the system such that you can collect plastic in a minimal amount of time. So it's like a Pac-Man game. Maybe you know that game, you know how to steer it. That's really a very exciting project. And I can't resist the temptation to show you this picture. I can really watch this picture for hours.
You got a second chance today, Dick. So
Oh, you also have such. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah. So that's made by Baisi Song. So here you see one of the optimal routes for the system. And so if you look carefully, then it is really visiting. So what you see here is in fact one of the part of the ocean. So the colors indicate the plastic density. So the lighter, the higher the density. And there's also the time is going on. So there's also waves and currents and so on. So the plastic density also changes over time. So the question is how to steer the system. And what we use is for those who are also expert in optimization, we use the dynamic programming, the longest path methods to find the best strategy. And that's, I think, was a big success. So this is one of the projects. The next project is, in fact, about the toolbox that Parvati was talking about, the PISA toolbox. So we see that we have many projects that has to do with optimizing geospatial access to, for example, healthcare. But we are now also looking at other applications, for example, the boreholes that Parvati also mentioned. And so we decided to build a generic toolbox for that, and also to extend those tools and techniques that are in the toolbox. So one of the basic toolbox, so this is, by the way, for me to just...
It's my glasses.
Yeah, I know. Yes, so, in fact, one of the basic problems there is what is called facility location problem. And that's a well-known problem in operational research and optimization. But here you really have huge scale problems. So for example, for Vietnam, where we also did it, it's about stroke centers there. The number of household locations was around 350,000, and potential locations for stroke centers also around, I'm looking at those 300,000. That was huge numbers. And in fact, the existing methods that are available were not able to solve it. So what we did is, in fact, we developed a new method to solve it. And, we did it with many other people. So from Tilburg University, Gauss Kant, and also students from Tilburg University, Britt van Veghel, I think, yeah, this is there. And Valentijn Stine, and also students, master students, Fleur Teulen, and Joyce Antonissen, Corine Westveer, and of course with Parvati and Kai Keizer. And not to forget, Joachim Krummegal. So we are, in fact, developing methods and extending the method in Toolbox. And for that, I will also set up an even broader research community. So to work on these type of problems. So there are also now people present today who might be join this research community to work on these methods for geospatial accessibility. Okay, this is a project of my colleagues Chintan and Mayuk from the University of Amsterdam, together with Oslem. It's about child wasting. So wasting is a form of malnutrition. And in fact, World Food Programme was interested in getting good estimates, predictions for child wasting in the Sahel region. And what they did is they used machine learning, they used effect ensemble classification techniques to get good predictions. And their methods are now used by the World Food Programme. Another project by a colleague, Claudia, I think, yeah, she's over there, yeah. That's in the spirit of text mining. And that's together with Willemijn van Doon, a colleague from ABS, and also people from Lund University. And that's about the text analytics. And that is using Twitter data. to in fact analyze what the changes are in the narratives about flying connected with climate change, the effect on the climate during over time. And she's using their text analytics and Twitter data to analyze that. For more details, you can ask Claudia. This is another project, also from Claudia, also about text analytics. And that is together with Jacopo. I think he's also here or maybe upstairs. Oh, he's not here. Okay. And also with Leah. And that's about using text messages and also text analytics to prioritize what should be the actions and which help is the most needed after a disaster. Again, for more details, please contact Claudia. Okay, so these are 5 projects out of the many projects that we are doing, research projects. The last year, we also had a number of seminars. So these were the first 2 seminars. So one by Lily about wildlife conservation. If you missed that, you can still watch the video. So it's available on the website. And the same holds for the presentation given by Nikos Trigakis, which was about organ allocation policy. And also 2 presentations, one by Jean Paufilet about the optimization for the ocean cleanup, also available on the web. And the same holds for the presentation by Andrea Tuni about smallholder farmers optimization. So finally, I think last year we also announced a new journal that has been postponed. So we hope to do that this year, but you know we were so busy with the other activities that that was a little bit delayed. So that will be done this year. Thank you very much for your attention. Shall I announce the next speaker? So I read